The federal government believes that one way to reduce unemployment is for youths to go into agriculture. Sounds like a plan, but the question is, how attractive is this? Well, my guest on the show is not a farmer, but is striving to bring more value to farmers by ensuring their produce gets to the market on time. Do look out for our chat on the interview segment. Let's kick off the show with some news and updates. This is Tech Trends, and I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.
The use of drones to improve public safety, agriculture, and other uses will only increase.
Getting around in a city like Lagos could sometimes be very challenging with the limited options available in terms of mobility. But what if there's a more practical way to commute, have fun, and stay fit at the same time? That's what this Nigerian smart mobility startup, Our Bike, is all about.
Our Bike is a micro-mobility company that is focused on providing sustainable transportation options for Africa's 1.2 billion people. Currently, you would find us in university campuses around Nigeria. So we are starting from closed communities. The focus is university campuses and then residential estates. The dream is to get as many people as possible in Africa on bicycles.
By turning to bicycles as a means of transportation, the app-based bicycle sharing platform enables users get around the city in an eco-friendly way.
Several transportation problems in terms of flexibility. Transportation options currently are not flexible enough. Many times we even have shortage of these options, especially at peak periods. They're also not healthy enough and not friendly to the environment, so not eco-friendly as well. So what we try to do and how we change things is, we provide that flexibility, for the commuter to be in control of where and when and how, he or she decides to move from point A to point B. Another thing we do is also give them the opportunity to exercise, while they're doing this, right? The third thing we do is actively trying to play a part in cutting down carbon emissions, in the society.
Ifeoluwa says he had the idea when he moved to France for his studies and found himself using a bicycle while he was there. That was then the idea hit him, and he mooted it to his friends.
My partner Ife was in France for his MBA, and he had to move around with a bicycle because, it was faster for him, it was cheaper for him, and it also helped him with the problem of the language barrier, which is French. And he called me one day, I just finished from law school, and he was like telling me about this and all, and what do I think about this. And I was like, okay, that's a good idea. Don't we think it can work in universities? We thought about this, that this is something that we can actually adapt and make work for students.
Through the Our Bike app, riders can register and get links to available bicycles within a location.
We want people to understand that it's for us, it's for everyone, now our own, which is what we get people saying from time to time, say our bike, now we get them on our own. So it's something we want people to be able to own and feel like, like it's theirs as well.
What do you go about?
This is our app. Right, you can see the bicycle, but it's also AWA, hour, right? Yeah, so that's, you basically tap. If you tap into that, it will show you the number of bikes in the area you have in the area. So here you get to pick a bicycle, right? You can reserve a bike 10 minutes before you ride the bicycle. So this only lasts for 10 minutes. You click on that to reserve the bike, and then you can select any bicycle you want. Go to the bicycle, click on unlock. When you unlock the bike, you can either use the QR code to unlock here in between the handlebars, or you put the number of the bicycle. right? And there's one here at the back of here. So you basically unlock the bike.
The 11th Sustainable Development Goal is on making cities inclusive, safe, resilient, and sustainable. And our bike is bridging that gap by trying to cut down on pollution and carbon emission.
In our company, we pride ourselves in taking care of the environment, and with our products, we intend to reduce or minimize everybody's carbon footprint as much as possible, because I mean, with climate change and all, it's left to us individually to try our best to ensure that we do not further deplete the ozone layer. And also, we've seen that a lot of us tend to be very dormant and do not exercise a lot. So cycling is also a very good form of exercise. It's very good for your heart. It's very good for the heart rate. It's very good for the blood rate. So we've also seen so far that students also really use it to exercise, because one of our busiest times is actually after school hours.
Using a community-based approach, the young startup is targeting campuses and selected communities across the country. Although the rate of adoption is quite impressive, they were not without challenges.
For us, at the beginning, one of the biggest problems we faced was convincing at first the investors that this was going to be viable, because I mean, how would you tell somebody that you want to put bicycles in school? I mean, a lot of time they will not understand it, so at first rather, but lucky for us, our investors were very forward-minded people, and we explained to them and let them see how this can work. Then the other problems we've had has sadly been with the universities. I mean, a lot of them have received us gracefully, but at times the whole procedure between introduction and the final implementation tends to take some time. So that has also been an issue I've had to face.
The startup not only aims to revolutionize mobility, but also to incorporate health and lifestyle management.
PEG Africa's Cool Blocks is a solar-powered fridge that provides affordable energy for businesses in remote locations that are off the energy grid. Originally intended to maximize the profits of SMEs, informal traders and businesses selling perishable goods, PEG Africa's CEO says the technology can also be used to store COVID-19 vaccines, such as the AstraZeneca, which requires temperatures of 2 to 8 degrees Celsius. PEG Africa's approach is to sell solar technology with pay-as-you-go financing for customers who could not otherwise afford it, and in locations where power is either totally absent or unreliable, much like the island of Lahu Panda in Ivory Coast, where fisherman Anthony Fiani is receiving his first solar-powered fridge.
After inserting the token, you now have the cool box with 8 water tanks. These water tanks are full of water and have to freeze in order to keep the temperature really low inside the cool box. So this equipment works with the Ivorian electricity company CIE as well as with solar.
Fiani says he can now store his freshly caught fish for at least 10 days, paying for the fridge in regular installment from the fish sale profits. 4 days after it was installed, the solar fridge is operational. It works by freezing water inside internal panels. PEG has also delivered solar water pumps for agricultural businesses, PayG solar systems for SMEs in Mali, household electricity for villages in Senegal, and solar energy to power clinics in Ghana. Applied on a large scale, these types of solutions could be a game changer in sub-Saharan Africa, where governments and health ministries are striving to find ways to vaccinate populations in remote, hard-to-access areas. According to Global Health Science and Practice, nearly 60% of healthcare facilities in sub-Saharan Africa have no access to electricity, and amongst those that do, only 34% of hospitals and 28% of health clinics have reliable 24-hour access. Efficient health services and responses to diseases including COVID-19 depend on reliable access to electricity. PEG Africa is currently piloting the solar-powered fridges in Ivory Coast and Senegal with the fishing community. And with funding from Power Africa, a network of private and public groups set up by USAID, PEG started providing solar power systems to off-grid health clinics, which will help drive the COVID-19 vaccination campaign. This is amongst one of the solutions that Africa could explore to vaccinate more people and control the spread of the coronavirus. Meanwhile, in Rwanda and Ghana, Zipline has been using drones to deliver life-saving medication. The company, which has been operating in Ghana since 2019 to deliver medicine to remote clinics, started flying COVID-19 vaccines from Mpani in Ashanti after Ghana received the first AstraZeneca vaccines through the COVAX alliance. It took 34 minutes for the drone to airdrop 25 vials in Asufwa, where 250 people were vaccinated within 5 hours. They made another 35 drone deliveries that day to the Asufwa Health Center. Although there are many factors impeding high levels of vaccination in sub-Saharan Africa, one of them is the safe transport and storage of the vaccine, which guided many countries to acquire AstraZeneca, Sputnik V, and Sinopharm vaccines that don't need to be stored at such low temperatures as the Pfizer, which must be stored at minus 70 degrees Celsius, and Moderna vaccines, which requires minus 25 degrees, for example. But solar power solutions like PEG Africa's fridges, Grid Fridge, and fast drone transport like Zipline can go a long way towards overcoming one of the major hurdles in the rollout of vaccines in sub-Saharan Africa.
To demonstrate the power of 5G connectivity, Spain's Telefónica demonstrated a raft of innovative applications for this growing technology, including the humanization of vending machines, a robot bartender.
Estamos presentando un robot camarero 5G.
We are introducing a waiter robot 5G. Thanks to 5G and edge computing, we are increasing the capabilities from a robot that serves drinks.
Un vino de Raimat de Codorniu.
The robot, developed by Marco Robotics, uses Telefónica's 5G technology to prepare and serve juice, wine or cocktails to Congress attendees. It can reply in several languages when greeting customers, respond to their orders, and offer recommendations in the language that the customer has previously selected. The robot also uses facial recognition to remember and recognize people who come back to it, offering up drinks based on their previous order. The hospitality robot, named Kine, uses computer vision cameras to allow the quality of the prepared product to be controlled in real time. Telefónica has demonstrated a Spot robot using its 5G tech. Fernandez said advanced robots like Spot and low-latency 5G make them a perfect tool to help humans in dangerous situations.
Se activan los brazos robóticos del camarero.
All the actions done by the robots are remotely piloted using the 5G network. This robot is oriented to security tasks. His objective is to act in situations where people are putting their lives at risk.
Se lo deja para que lo coja el cliente.
Telefónica say the technology is scalable to serve people with more potential functionalities, always in real time, such as demographic characteristics of the users, capacity, waiting time in the queue, warning for crowds, or identifying specific peaks of high demand or supply needs, among others.
Next is my chat with Abdulaziz Kabiru, co-founder Farm 365. Stay with us.
There has been a fast rise in agriculture technology in Nigeria as agritech startups use technological innovations to provide digital solutions to optimize the farming process. These solutions are aimed at eliminating farm losses and improving efficiency. Some of them address the challenges faced by farmers. Abdulaziz Kabir, co-founder of Farm 365, is working in the ecosystem to bring more value to farmers.
Abdulaziz, glad to have you on the show today.
It's nice to have you here. It's a pleasure to be here.
All right, let's start by getting your view on how technology has helped to build the startup ecosystem today.
So I think technology is all about solving the real-life problems which are faced by human beings. And in the last decade, we have seen how technology has helped solve numerous challenges across Africa. And these founders are doing well and they're improving, looking at the most daunting problem, and they're coming with a solution that is making life easier. I think in the next decade, it's going to be unprecedented. What we are seeing now, I think, is just the beginning of technology of having so many windows that people will fetch prosperity, and they will make a lot of money and they'll make impact. So as we are working our parts, we keep acquiring knowledge, and that knowledge we give new exponential growth to so many startups coming to solve problems across Africa and globally.
Awesome. Let's come a bit closer to your space, which is the agricultural space. How is technology impacting that space?
So we can look at it from perspective of food security and sustainable agriculture. In the last few years, we have seen startups doing a lot of things in that space, and it has helped a lot to provide food security, even though we are not there. But technology emergence have helped farmers understand that they need to do more, they need to have new modern practice, they need to have improved seed, and they need to have access to market, which technology is helping to shape that route. And we have seen how these farmers are embracing technology to make a good use of it by helping them do more. And do more means they're going to generate more revenue, they're going to have more impact in their community and their well-being. And at the other side, people are going to have affordable food and they are going to have food security. So I can see that technology is shaping the way we do agricultural process across Africa.
You know, but some would argue that until we get to the mechanized high-tech form of farming and agriculture, we would never get to really scale that industry. What is your take?
So, like I think our forefathers managed to feed us with food using their own knowledge and skills. So I believe mechanized farming is going to be another space which is coming up to give more food and more meaning to people's life and the whole the global food security. So it's something that we are working towards at Farm 365 to see how we can come up with a platform that will make mechanized farming an easier one, and it will be like a picture to others to embrace and make it happen. But until then, mechanized farming is the way forward to feed our exponential growth. And
in terms of investment into mechanized farming, would that come from the government? Would that come from private sector, VCs? What is your comment on that?
No, I think everyone has to play their own part. It's coming from VCs, it's coming from government, it's coming from stakeholders. Everyone is have to like put their own pen down and see how they can contribute. And as I can see, looking at our population in Nigeria, we're over 200 million plus, which means people must contribute, people must support. So that's why I'm calling on everyone who can support agriculture to give their own contribution to see that we can feed our population and we can feed Africa and the globe at large.
Okay, Abdulaziz, some startups will say that there is this there's this preference for investments going into fintech startups, unlike maybe agri and the rest of it, right? First and foremost, do you agree with this?
I can say that in the last 5 years, agriculture bubble has taken place, and a lot of VCs are pouring their money into agriculture, which is in billions of dollars. So fintech is something that is evolving, and we believe like fintech must evolve. If fintech evolve, it's going to harness the way we pay farmers, we pay our stakeholders, and we pay transport and logistic companies. So fintech will pave way for so many things to come on board and to be a reality. And I believe funding comes at any stage of a company, and it doesn't matter the vertical you're operating. In as much as you are solving human problem, you are solving real life problem, money will come, funding will come, and opportunities will come. So until we begin to have such kind of mindset before we can have the power to do so many things and look at so many problems to solve, not only fintech, not only agriculture and other species.
So that means from your perspective, that growth or that focus on fintech for now is okay?
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay.
Now, are agritech startups getting enough support from funding from VCs and the rest?
Yeah, sure. I might say some years. Yeah, they are doing. The VCs are funding, but you can't compare it to fintech. As I mentioned, fintech is fintech bubble at this moment. So any space happy is fintech. But I believe like the money will be in circulation from fintech to agriculture. I think it's something that we are working to see that those guys from fintech are pouring their money into agriculture so that the money will be in circulation and they can help through their own culture to see that they provide food security.
Okay, in many countries of the world, agriculture is one sector that gets subsidized somehow, and even their startups get supported by their governments. Do you think that's the route we should take?
Yeah, so by now, like from our own company, we are working with different stakeholders. Some of them are from the government perspective. We are working with some government officials to see that they contribute their own quota into providing more meanings to the startups that are into agriculture. And I think we have seen an unprecedented participation and contribution from different players. Like example, in Nigeria, the government has for more than like 20 billion naira to 40 billion naira into agriculture since the coming of this administration. And at a point, it's solving bigger problems from fertilizer to seedling to even improving yield. So I think it's a way forward, and we're working it out. And it will be a thing of joy in the next coming years to see that we have achieved a maximum scale toward providing food to the table.
Okay, so I've always said that agriculture is sort of a value chain, and young people have to find ways along the value chain where they situate themselves. Where have you found yourself in this value chain?
So I think we are working across supply chain, starting from the farm to the end user, whereby we work with the farmers to make sure we give them access to market. I mean, guarantee a reliable access to market to sell their farm produce even before they harvest. Whereas we have customers in the urban areas who are in need of this farm produce, and we try to connect the dots from the farmers to the end user. So I can say that we are working across the value chain, starting from the farm to the end user. So like it's a whole big team, but I can say that we are aggregators.
So where do you see your startup in 5 years?
Wow, we are going global, from Nigeria to Ghana to Kenya, then out of Nigeria, I believe. We are building the future of food distribution across Africa and the globe, which is going to be anchored on mobile technology. So in the next 5 years, we're going to be $1 billion company. We're looking at the vertical we're touching. It consists of feeding human beings. And if you're going to feed human beings, you need to do it in a large scale, and you need to grow, or you just go home. So we are prepared to grow, and we are working it out to make sure that growth is attainable.
Abdulaziz, I wish you all the best. Keep building. Thank you for being on the show today.
So, thank you for having me. See you once again. See you.
My guest has been Abdulaziz Kabir, co-founder Farm 365. And what I find interesting about technology startups is how they work pretty hard to add value to multiple value chains of an ecosystem. I like what some startups like Farm 365 is doing to ensure that perishable food items make it to the market on time. That's partly why I remain optimistic about the ecosystem and the possibilities ahead. We've come to the end of the show, but it doesn't end here. The conversation continues online. Check out the show on Channels TV, YouTube, or cfablog.ng. For Tech Trends, I'm Chukwemeka Agbata.